Ben, how long did you live in the city?
Carried the two. Many years over the last 44 years, many years of my life. But I had a 150 square foot apartment on the Upper West Side.
I think I've seen pictures of this thing. Were you able to control the temperature of said apartment?
No, I had a pipe. I was on the top floor, so it was a heating pipe, which was just right in my face.
Same thing here. Grew up in an apartment building. The third floor was hot. By the time you got up to the 10th floor,
it's over.
Forget it.
Inferno.
It is called heat season here in New York City, and it officially started back on October 1st.
But this October, we saw several 70-degree days when most people don't need heat. So does the heat season law need an update?
Yes, joining us this morning is Allia Mohammed, a housing advocate and co-founder of Openigloo, a New York City-based rental platform. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
You come here and you do us a public service, and we are forever thankful.
I'll try my best.
Okay. First of all,
I'm an idiot. I didn't know any of this.
Neither did I. Heat season is a thing. Okay, so what is this? Renters, landlords are turning on the heat?
Heat season runs from October 1st to May 31st of every single year, and it is a period of time where your landlords are legally obligated to make sure you have working and sufficient heat. So they're not obligated to pay for that heat, but the heat definitely needs to be working.
Okay.
So whenever the temperature drops below 55 degrees Fahrenheit during the day, your landlord needs to maintain an indoor temperature of 68 degrees. And overnight, no matter what the temperature is, the indoor temperature needs to be 62 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, nearly 70% of New York City renters rely on their landlords to turn on the heat, which is why these laws are so important.
Is it a minimum? What is it? 68 during the day? You said.
And 62 at night.
Is it a minimum of 68, or can that fluctuate?
Minimum of 68, and the problem is a lot of these apartments are overheated, right? So on those 70-degree days in early October or even in May, your apartment can feel like a sauna.
Right. Okay. So. And these laws have been in place since 1918?
1918 is when this law went into effect, where landlords had to maintain that 68-degree temperature.
And it's just for the residents to understand the heat is working. That's the sole purpose, say that the heat is actually functional. That's it?
Exactly right. So some buildings are a little bit more sophisticated than others. There's an automatic thermostat, so it'll kick in. But sometimes landlords will just turn on the heat on October 1st, and it is running all season long, no matter what the temperature is.
And it doesn't go up, it doesn't go down.
Exactly.
It's just on. This is the radiator, the old school radiator. If you know, you know. People from the Bronx call it a radiator. I know it's a radiator. But sometimes these radiators are under a window.
Yes.
And the heat just goes up, like producer Steph, and right out the window.
Yes.
So what are we doing here? How do we combat this? How do we maintain the heat in our homes, but also not waste?
Not ignite.
Yes, it is a great question. As you know, buildings in New York City are old. Some people live in over 100-year-old buildings, and the heating system is just as old. You've got the clanking radiators, you've got the burning pipes in your bathroom. Really, the answer to this is just upgrades over time. So there's been an electrification movement in New York City where maybe buildings will stop being so reliant on these radiators, but there's definitely technologies that we can leverage to try and make these buildings a little bit smarter.
When do people say it's time to really add a little litigation to this process, and because you can get hurt? I mean, you could get harmed by this. Yeah,
unfortunately, we hear from a lot of Openigloo users who are reviewing their landlords on Openigloo that their heat has been out for 6 months, 7 months. Filing a lawsuit is always worst case scenario. That's the last thing you want to do. If your heat is not working and it's supposed to, you want to inform your landlord, you want to inform your management. If they're not being responsive, you can file a complaint with 311 and really get the city involved to get your heat up and running.
Okay, so this goes into the next question, which is if you are a tenant and you pay for your heat, are you on, and it's higher? I mean, I have a home. It was higher last year. Why is this happening? What rights do tenants have?
Oh, this is such a challenge for New York City renters who actually pay for their heat. They might have the electric heat so they can control it. That's great. But Con Edison bills are going up year after year. Openigloo data showed that renters are paying on average $148 per month for their electrical bills, and that's 10% higher than last year. This is why it's really important for renters to do research about where they're going to live. Some buildings are not very energy efficient. So that bill could be $300 or $400. So there's a lot of research that renters need to do before making a decision on where to live.
And it's hard because you want to live in a newer building, but the prices are astronomical. So
exactly right.
How do you? It's impossible to choose.
That's the debate.
That is the debate, and to be continued. Before we go, I'm looking at this video we're showing. There is some newer technology with thermostats.
Yes.
How easy are those to adapt to an apartment here in New York City?
I've seen it done. It can be pricey, especially for the landlords that have large portfolios, but it's definitely technology that exists. You can install them on top of radiators. You can control that thermostat. But I will give a word of caution that renters should not play with their radiators, turn those knobs, touch it. It can be quite dangerous. So you really want to involve your landlord or management if you need to, you need to mess around with it.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Important information. Thank you, Allia.
Thank you
as
for having
usual.
me.
Love that brooch. I mean, look, tell me you're
I
from
was
New
going to
York.
mention the brooch. I love the brooch.
Thank
So
you.
good.
New York City, my favorite city.
For more information on New York City renters and landlord regulations, follow Allia at Openigloo on Instagram. And if you need assistance with your heat, call 311.